Hey, this is Paul. I'm so excited for you to be joining in on the first session of the sales training. You know, we've sent out two of these emails asking you some specific questions and asking you to write out the answer to those questions. I'm going to give you three more questions that I'm going to ask you to write out the answer to. The reason why this is so critically important is I firmly believe that any sales professional doesn't wing it, right? If you're a sales pro, you don't kind of jump on the call and just see what happens. You jump on a call or enter into a communication with a prospect with a really well-rehearsed script of language patterns, tonalities, key language patterns and phrases that influence certainty in the mind of the buyer. So if you missed the first two videos, I'd encourage you to go back and watch those and answer those questions as well. Now, if you can't get this done before the first session, that's fine. After the first session, make sure you do the exercise. It will make a huge difference in your understanding and in your confidence in applying what you're going to learn over these 4 weeks. So here's the first question. If you had to describe your top selling offering to a prospect, how would you describe it? And I'd like you to write it out, because again, having this written out is going to build certainty in you. You'll have confidence, and it will build certainty in the mind of your prospect. When your communication is clear and concise and on target, it establishes a micro agreement in the mind of the buyer that you truly are sharp as a tack, that like you are a pro, and that you're enthusiastic about what it is that you sell, and that you can be the person who can solve their problem or help them get their need met. So writing this out is important. Now, one of the things that I do as kind of a little hack is sometimes it's hard to write these things out. It's easier to just verbally communicate them. So I use this app on my Apple. It's called Photo Booth, and I will actually talk to the camera as though I was talking to a prospect. I'll make the pitch, or I'll do the language pattern, whichever one I'm trying to script on. I'll talk it through. I'll get that transcribed, and then I'll work from that transcription until I really hone the script. Here's the second question. What problem does your offering solve, or how does your offering equip your buyer to take advantage of an opportunity? In every sales conversation, the prospect has one of two needs: either the need to resolve some problem or the need to take advantage of some opportunity. So as you think of what your top offering does, how does your top offering solve a problem? And how does your top offering help somebody take advantage of an opportunity? And you need to be able to communicate both. You need to be able to communicate both. Number 3, what are the top 3 objections that a prospect would have when making a decision to buy from you? So chances are you've been trying to sell your product, your service, your program, your widget, whatever it is, and you've gotten objections. Now, in the course, you're going to hear how we define objections as smoke screens of uncertainty. That really the only reason why a person has an objection is because they lack certainty. They just need some more information. And they may not be able to clearly articulate that they have uncertainty. So what they do is they say, let me check with my wife. Let me check with my husband. Let me run this by the committee. Send me some information so we can think about it. Let's hold off until next month. Let's wait till next season. What they're really saying is, I'm just not 100% sure yet. And they could have uncertainty in you. They could have uncertainty in the offering, or they could have uncertainty in maybe your company's ability to deliver that. And so having a well-scripted definition and description of what your offering is, having a well-written out, well-rehearsed communication that defines what solution you bring to resolve their problem or take advantage of their opportunity will really help you build certainty in the mind of your buyer. So answering the questions, it gives you command of communication, which helps build this certainty. And so in our first session together, you're going to understand why this is so critically important, and having this level of certainty will increase your sales. Do you realize that only 3% of sales professionals actually will take the time to write out a script for their sales presentations? That means that 97% of the people are making it up on the fly. 97% of the people are not prepared. They've never pre-thought into what an objection may be, what questions someone might have. They've never thought into each feature and benefit of their product. They've never thought into the transition of going from the intelligence gathering to the sales presentation. They've never scripted the transition from an objection to a rebuttal of the objection or a deflection of that. They've never thought into it. They've never scripted in when they need to change their tonality in order to maintain rapport. And perhaps this is why 3% of a sales team outperform the other 97%. Having a really well-honed, well-rehearsed sales script, so honed and so rehearsed that it just sounds natural. And again, what you're going to do is you're going to have scripted pieces for the different sections of this conversation. In week number 2, we're going to give you all of the different sections of this conversation, all the different pieces in a very linear format, so that you can know that when you're on a conversation, on a call with a prospect, that when you transition from one segment of the conversation to the next segment, that you have a scripted transition, that you have an open-ended question, that you have the right tonality, so that you maintain command of the communication. Be sure to register for this training with your very best phone number so that we can text message you the link. We're going to be doing a lot of text messaging with the resources for this program. Now, literally thousands have registered, and I'm grateful that you've registered and that you've shared the link. So thank you. For those of you who have shared the link with your family and your friends and your coworkers and associates, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And we've got thousands of people who have registered. The platform, we're going to do this via Zoom so that you can see me and I can see you, holds about 1,000 people. That's about the max that Zoom will allow us to do this, unless we would then have to switch over to a webinar where then we can't see you. And a big part of this is going to be open Q&A with me, and I want to be able to see you when you ask the question. So make sure you jump on early so that you secure your spot. It is a camera on only event. So if you are going to participate, we want your camera on. If you're going to take a slot, we're going to expect you to have your camera on. Okay. We're going to be sending out a replay within a few hours, and there is a special bonus for those people who come on to the live on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. So if you come on live, there's a special bonus for you. So really looking forward to you being there. I hope that you'll take the time to be in that 3% club, to go ahead and write these things out. Because as you go through this 4-week course and you have the answers to these questions in front of you, written out, you're going to see exactly how to apply the system. I promise you, I guarantee you, just by writing out the answer to these questions, you will increase your success in sales. Just by doing that, you'll increase. But if you take that and then the tactics, the tools and the strategies and the system that I'm going to show you, I'm telling you, you should be closing 70% of every sales conversation you have. You should be closing at least 90% of everybody who is absolutely closable. Absolutely. In other words, those people who are coming, who are really looking for a solution, and ready to buy, you should close 90% of those. We know that there's some people who are still in the thinking about it stage. They're still looking. They may not be ready to buy, but you could persuade them to buy. They do have a need for what you have. They want to do it, but maybe in their mind, they've got some objection that they're just not ready yet. So they're just kind of shopping around, but they're not ready to buy. I think if you'll follow our system and our process and you'll answer these questions, I think you'll close 70% of those. I think you'll be able to influence and persuade through micro agreements those people to say yes. Being able to sell will lead you to financial freedom. It is perhaps the greatest tool that an entrepreneur needs to develop. It does. I see so many people spend thousands, tens of thousands of dollars building email lists and online marketing, taking, funnel courses and all those kinds of things and how to build a landing page. And they do all these things to market to generate a lead. And then they don't have a strategy, a system, a process, or the skill set to have a communication, a dialogue with that person and close them into the program. What good is having a big email list, or what good is it to having, an inbox full of leads if you're not able to close them? That's the name of the game. So I hope you'll join in. Make sure that we have your very best text phone number so that we can text you the link and other bonuses that we're going to have around the program. Can't wait to be with you on Saturday. Be well.